Just waiting for Vidushini to come online. Just waiting for Vidushini to come online. Today we are going to be interviewing. Vidushini, are you online?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Vidushini. Hi.
Hi.
So welcome
Hello.
online now, and it gives me great pleasure to interview you here. You've been a member now for 100 Hands for the last 10 years. And
Yes.
it's lovely to hear, we're looking forward to hearing your side of the story and, to share your art form really with everyone. There have been so many people who have been excited about you being online. So I'm not going to waste too much time. A hearty welcome to Dushini. She's a Madhubani artist, practicing Madhubani art now for the past 15 years or more. Okay, and so
Yeah.
within 16 years.
Almost
Okay.
16.
Why don't you introduce yourself? I know you have an interesting journey to tell as well, from chemistry masters to maths teacher to Madhubani artist. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll spend time actually on the craft itself.
Okay. So actually, it started like I was born and brought up in Calcutta. Studied there till 10th standard. Then after 10th, came to Patna because my father, he came with his business. He transferred. So in Patna, like I did my graduation, post graduation in chemistry, and after that. Then I took I was working there for say 1.5 years, got married, moved to Delhi. After that also I was working like as a mathematics teacher. Then Vaibhav was about to be born, like my son. And then how it like that was the time when I decided that I have to do something from sitting from home. And so I started doing art. Like I was good at art, and that was
Hmm.
my hobby. So it was like when I was painting, not only it was not like I was completely into Madhubani at that time, but I was good at it, and I learned art during my childhood days also, because I was the first girl child, almost after two
Wow.
generations in my house. So got that opportunity of learning everything,
Hmm.
whatever I wanted. So I did learn art, like from the teachers who came and taught me. So pencil sketch or doing bigger sketches, and right from childhood I had that, like not doing small things or this. If I'm going for a piece of art or drawing it, a big size artwork or a big size poster. So that was my always my passion to do. So that actually after like I left my work, so that was actually first time when I felt that I can do this. Though I was also working side by side, like with all the content development work and which I could
Hmm.
do online during that time in 2004-5. But I took art seriously, and then gradually got interested in
What
doing Madhubani.
what made you veer
And
towards Madhubani in particular?
see what happened during my college days. I used to visit like my college. I was studying in Magad Mahila College, which is just opposite to the famous Gandhi Maidan of Patna. So there, the craft fairs and those used to happen, and I used to go, and like my interest was not more into the craft part of it, the clothes and this and that. I was more into like looking at the art and understanding the art. So different, I had like a liking for different kinds of art, and that from that time only I started, you know, to understand the arts differently. As far as the craft was there, like my mother was very good at all embroidery, and so that was a part of our life. We used to do embroidery and all that, everything at the house. So that was our
Okay.
favorite pastime. But at the same time, so when I decided that I will take Madhubani, professionally, then that time we were discussing one day, just suddenly, like with my husband, that even I can do this. So he said, why don't you do it then? And then that's the first time that we just mailed to Novika, which was a National Geographic initiative, and somehow I got a mail back reply that why don't you come with your artwork. So then like I was very nervous at that time, so because I did not had that much of artwork to show somebody, and that also in a professional way. Then I took a time of around say 10 days or so, and created some of the artwork, went there, and most of them
Wow.
were selected. So that's how it started. And then, of course, it was not that I was selling like a pro from that time itself. It was like it used to sell like, say, in 5 months or 6 months, one piece or something like that. But it did taught me like how I should take up it, to take it professionally. And then when I went to the second time with my work, then some of them were rejected. So why it was rejected, I had more like I was more concerned about it rather than what were selected. So then the person who was into the quality control, I asked him, if you do not explain me, why are you
I think the connection's a bit slow. Just wait for a minute. Vidushini, are you coming back online? We'll just wait. Otherwise, we'll restart it. I think we will restart it. Okay, I think she's back online. Just one moment. Yeah, you're back. Yeah. So you were telling us about being more interested in the artwork that was rejected rather than the one selected.
Yeah. So that was the time, he made me understand that you should have that flow of an artist is not there, and your intricacy should be more. And so what are the things that he explained me during that time? So I really took it very seriously. And then, the third time I went with following all those things, and finally, like, all my work were selected.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And that was the time that I really understood what people want from, as a, like, if you are taking it professionally, what should
From
be
a
there?
consumer perspective.
Yeah. So that I understood, and also gradually, like, how your art were selling, over the time. So that gave me. Then, of course, after 2 or 3 years itself, we moved to Bangalore. When I came to Bangalore, so, like, say, after 6, 7 months only, like, I was introduced to you, and then we were like, I joined 100 Hands, and that was the first time, like, when I participated in in the bazaar for the first time when we were there.
And you were very nervous.
So yeah, I was very nervous. Like, before, when I started, it was like more with the online thing. So I was not interacting with anybody that time. Sitting back at home, creating, like, who will tell what, that was not my concern. Now I was live with the people who were buying my work.
Yeah, coming
So,
face to face with consumers.
so initially you must have seen that I was very reluctant in speaking. So you encouraged me, and I was like not that kind of person who can talk in front of anybody. So I was more, introvert kind of person that time. So telling somebody about my work, or say you're buying it or showing it, like, I was very, like, something from my inside, like, how can I do this? So, but gradually, with your encouragement and with the people, like, we call it as a 100 family, like, everyone's encouragement, then gradually I opened up, and I started speaking about the art, and then also showing, like, others how I am creating that. Because initially, when people saw me, or when I was doing that, like, though I was doing everything on my own, but people who were coming to buy it, or say also interacting with me, they thought that I am buying it from somebody, or like, it's others' creation, and I'm sitting there and selling.
Is that some sort of a disadvantage that you feel sometime being an urban artist doing traditional craft, that people just assume?
See, first of all, practicing traditional craft itself is, like, for people like me who are considered, like, you are educated, why are you practicing this? There is no, like, why should you do that? Why, this is for them whose livelihood should be like, is dependent on this. So when you're practicing traditional art, or folk art, or tribal art, then that question always arises.
It comes up.
People do not see that, okay, the amount of effort that you are putting in the art, or say your passion towards it, why you are doing it. If you're good at it and you are passionate about it, you have the ability to create properly, then it doesn't matter, like, how educated you are, or or that, okay, you are not, your livelihood is not dependent on it. Like, after all, it is also, professionally, when I have taken, I too need to sustain on it.
And you feel and you would encourage people who have a hobby to be able to look at things professionally as well?
Yes. Now I really do, like, once people find themselves, like, like they can do as I have, what they say, that you have showed us the way that you can, like even others can do it. So, so I think that, but initially when I started, like lot of things I had to face. Like even somebody told me that, you're sitting back in Bangalore and creating Madhubani. So it's just like, your art is more like presenting South Indian food in North India and North Indian food in South India. Your authenticity has been lost. So such kind of, things, of course, it used to hurt me a lot. And but it also gave me determination that, okay, one day my art will speak. Let me not go and ask for work. Let my work ask you to come to me. So that determination was always there with, like,
So
I am a person like that. If say somebody tells me, okay, you are not going to do it, and if I want to do it, I will do it.
So that's
So
that's
there is,
very, very inspiring and encouraging. Now let's move
yeah.
actually to your art, and let's just try and understand really what Madhubani is. So if you can give us a brief introduction on Madhubani art, and specifically on your style, and the journey that you have actually made these last 15, 16 years.
See, Madhubani, actually, if you call it, it is known as Mithila painting, first of all. Popularly known as Madhubani painting because most of the artists who became popular in this art, you have taken the art form to a popularity. They were from that region. So it became more popularly known as ki haan ye yahan ka hai. So it's like Madhubani painting came, the name came like, but the actual name is the Mithila painting, that what we are doing.
Okay, and that's the folk art of Bihar, primarily.
That is a folk art. That is a traditional folk art. It is in the culture. It actually, wall painting is done during the time of marriage. And all the rituals are performed in front of that painting. So basically, that painting is known as Kobar, and a Kobar room is created during the time of marriage, and all the rituals are performed into it. So a brightly colored room with, but the central theme of that painting is like, all related to fertility and auspiciousness or the good luck that it will bring to the couple. So whatever are the motives, the used in the painting, where like the fishes, the parrots, all had a symbolic meaning. Like the fishes were more for the auspiciousness, bringing auspiciousness to the couple, or say the tortoise, which were for the longevity of the couple. Then, of course, the symbolic meaning, like parrots were there, like two entangled parrots. Like those are the some of the motifs which are like one should remain in love with each other. So when you see, say, two parrots which are entangled to each other like this. So let me show you one, one painting of that entangled parrot, what we call it as Latpatia Suga. It looks like this. Two parrots with their beaks attached. This is more in a contemporary way that I have drawn, but it's, it's very brightly colored, and yeah, they used to use all bright colors.
This is being in love forever.
Yeah, then being in love forever. So, like those motifs, and the motifs like whichever god, goddess you wanted to invite during the time of marriage in order to seek the blessings. So the sun, moon, all the 9 planets, then, whichever god, goddess, Ganesh, Shiv, Parvati, like those were the things drawn. Then all the auspicious trees, the banana tree, the mango tree, which are considered to be auspicious. And then whatever little spaces that were left in between those were filled with flowers, leaves, and like we in our childhood days when we used to go to villages during the time of marriage, usually all whether we were staying in say city or anywhere, but the marriage for marriage purpose everyone used to go to their native place, and it used to happen in the native house. It was not like nowadays what happens like we go to a destination wedding or this that. So that was not the case when we were child. So during that time I have seen like when people used to draw on the mud walls, and like how they used to mix the colors, the holy colors with the with the lime that was mixed with water, and then with that they used to sketch with whatever twig, and then cotton was just like the bud we used to create, and then paintings were created. So that time it was like whoever was the lady, they used to say just कि फूल पत्ती से भरो इसको और ज्यादा रंगाओ और इसको color करो. So in our childhood days we have we were given those mitti ka kullars, and in that colors were mixed, and then कि भरो, and then we participated filling in the color, and because that time we did not understand
where it gets everyone together to do things, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was like more the ladies used to deck themselves up, on the day of the marriage, and then start painting. They were hardly bothered that who is going to cook, because the cook was always there. So more into the rituals, and it was like a thing.
And you had mentioned earlier that some of the colors that you use are particularly vibrant colors. So is that more celebratory?
No, during that time, like that, the colors those were used like bright pink, red. Black was not used at all during a marriage, because the symbolic meaning that of the black is like of the more of the evil, and like darkness. So black is a no when it is like कि कुछ शुभ करना है तो. So in marriages black was not used. Either you can start the painting with say blue or white or the rice paste, or you can use say the red, the color that is, and then rest of the colors, the yellow, the blue, from indigo. And the yellows, usually the holy colors that comes in Puria, what we get in Bihar. So those were mixed, and then.
And your paintings today also actually are based on those kind of colors and motifs?
Yes, motifs I have not changed.
Can you
see, I have not
more motifs? You took us through the entwined parrots. Any more motifs that you can share with us?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Motifs, let me just tell you that I have not changed any of the motifs. Whatever was traditionally used, the same motifs I am doing, but in a more stylist way. Because I think the education and the I have I stayed in like Calcutta, and then to Patna, and then went to Delhi, and then went to came to Bangalore. So staying in cities and understanding more of that what people want in in a contemporary, like if they are into a contemporary living. So what they want and how they want. Every time it's not that whatever is like how it is done in Madhubani. So or how I wanted to do it my way. I took it that way. So like when I was doing any motif, it was not like I all tried to give more emphasis on the motif rather than, filling up with the flowers and the leaves and this. So my emphasis was more, if you see my paintings, like in my paintings, more the size of the main theme would be much bigger rather than filling it up with
Your paintings have a very bold style to them. The motifs are there and it's bold. It's a strong statement compared to the more traditional forms of Madhubani, right?
So that like I concentrate more on this thing that rather than the other side things. What
Yeah,
it is a feature of Madhubani painting that no space should be left blank. So you have to fill up the space with, say, leaves and branches and this. That's a feature. So you cannot, if you are practicing a folk art or any traditional art, you have to follow the features. Otherwise, it would be something else. So you cannot leave the features at all. But the thing is that when you are, say, you can do it in your own way. So that's what I like when I did, say, a very bright, colorful painting. Then background, I'll show it to you. Let me show you, and then make you understand. So, say, suppose, just once.
Yeah.
So like this is the one. This is the entangled parrot.
Yeah.
Or let me just first show you actually how this is like wall painting during the cover looks. This is a cover actually. So if you see, this is the central theme of the lotus pond, and in this only the motifs are there. What I actually now use as a painting. So if you see in this painting, this is the entangled parrot. When you are drawing it, like it should be bright and colorful like this. Now when I do it in this is actually like one of the styles. It's not that I have changed the style of the painting. It's same. The motifs are same. If you see that this is going this way, that is going this way. So it's drawn in the same way. Now what you are seeing as these is the second, there is one style of painting which is known as the Kachni style, wherein we just work with the black lines. And Kachni actually means hatching. So when we hatch it with slant lines or straight lines. We can slant hatch it, straight hatch it, or say we can make a design. And that's only done with the help of the nib traditionally. So I use the traditional nib. I don't use any pigment liner pens or the rotring pens or whatever. I just use brush and nib. And the nib is just simple. I'll show you the nibs also, because that's the most frequent question actually which is asked to me, like what you use. So I will definitely show that to you.
The black and white here is one style.
The black and white is the Kachni style of painting. So the style remains Kachni. Now the background, in order to fill up the background, instead of filling it up and with too much of flowers and leaves and branches, what I did, like filling it up with one single color.
And you fill it up after you do the painting?
After I do the painting. So first my sketch is prepared and then filling up with the color. So in this, what happened, that chaos in the painting. Like I don't want my, the motifs to look more prominent rather than keeping the entire thing very chaotic.
So that makes it a bit more contemporary than the more traditional painting.
Yeah, so you may say that when it comes from this to this, then it becomes like more contemporary.
Hmm.
or say whatever you say. I don't make see it as contemporary because after all it is that.
Hmm.
But this is what people like, and it all started. Let me tell you, Mala, that it all started during our second bazaar. That was the Mango Collective.
When we had the theme of mango.
Yeah, when we had the theme of mango. So
Hmm.
this is all the paintings, different paintings,
Hmm.
wherein I have used the same style. That's the Kachni style,
Hmm.
and all these motifs. These are like single motifs, and which are differently
Let's
colored,
take
but
them
the
back.
style of the painting.
Let's take them a bit back so we can see the full painting. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So that's how the painting
Lovely.
looks. And when you frame it, actually, it looks very gorgeous. Um, So let me show you one of the framed one also. So how a paper looks and how a framed one looks. See, this is just on the paper. When it
Hmm.
is framed, it gives this look.
Hmm.
So then I also used contemporary motifs. Then
Hmm.
went to owls and other motifs which I did. And
Hmm.
then, but I
Push the
did not
painting back
change
a
this.
bit. Push the painting back. Yeah.
I did not change the style of doing it. So it's
Hmm.
not that I have moved out of the basic, whatever you may say, that style of the painting, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it is
You've
a bit
innovated.
contemporary.
Innovated as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
So this is how I did. So this is it became one of my signature styles.
Okay.
Actually, it all started during, what should I say, our Mango Collective. So for the first time, like when we were doing the Mango Collective, like you said, like what our theme, like we will be doing something on related to mangoes. What should I do with the mangoes, mangoes, mangoes? So that time, like when we were given themes, it also led to a lot of thinking. So, brainstorming used to go on in our meetings, and then a
Hmm.
lot of thinking. So, why not play with the colors of the mangoes rather than, creating mangoes on the trees or this?
Yeah.
So, that is the time when I started this. So, it was like for the first time, I created around 10 paintings or so, and
Hmm.
it was liked by everyone so so much. And then after that we did an event in Eka in Jayanagar.
Hmm. The
So
Ganesh.
that was
Also.
that was the time when Kimiko, like I was introduced to Kimiko by you. So she also helped me into understanding like what is, like how and the painting should go for the retail and this,
Hmm.
and how it should be framed, everything, that understanding of
Yeah. That's very
how
important.
how the consumers or say the customers would take it.
Hmm.
So I got that understanding from her. I got the understanding from by participating in the event, 100 event. So this came like from that time. So
Hmm.
then I created a collection like the Ganesha collection. My Ganeshas were like, so
Hmm.
then that became one more this
Signature.
thing, signature style. So then I was taking Ganesha's face and doing the side face, and then
Yeah.
again working with all this. So let me show you one or two, uh, say, Ganeshas, what I used to do. Uh, say this is Ganesha.
Hmm.
And so if you see the shape, it's more of a contemporary shape.
Hmm.
But if you see the style,
Hmm.
then it comes to the, more this thing.
Hmm.
So after this, lot of experimentation. So this was the first step when I did a lot of experimentations.
Hmm.
Then in this, so each bazaar or each event, I used to experiment
Yeah.
something. So in like I did one experiment with the old books. So in this, what I did, like it was a very old book. So first time when I saw like somewhere, some of them were print. I saw somewhere that people are printing on dictionary pages and this and more kind of. So why not apply that in Madhubani?
Hmm.
Then I like initially, if you give him such old paper, no one would buy it. So then, and moreover, treating the paper well, in order to make the art also.
Yeah.
So then that hit and trial method, treating it with liquids and different kinds of. I went to one of the stores where they sell dyes and all kinds of pigments. So from there, I got a glue kind of thing and a bottle. They said that it will work well. Either it will give you a glossy finish or say a matte finish. Which one you want, you take that.
Hmm.
So I took a matte finish one, applied it, pasted it on the book pages on this thing, and then that's how I created that. So first time I was like, whether it will sell or not, you don't know, but you have to experiment when you want to take it further. So that was there always, like how you want to
Have to keep,
do something.
evolving. This is
Yeah.
important.
So I did that, and then it was like, so in the bazaar that we did in knit,
Nif,
NIF, sorry. Yeah. So that time I introduced this book pages, and so that also did well. So each time, the theme that we were given, like in Wonders of Water, so Me Too, We, and the collaborative work. So, and my also interest of working with, collaborating with anybody, like whoever you said or say whoever wanted to work with me, I can collaborate with anybody and create my work on their stick. So that actually helped me, not only evolve my art, in a different way.
Yeah.
So what you see today as my art is more because of the experimentations that I have done and because of the themes that we were provided and all the brainstorming to
Forced to think and forced to think out of the
yeah,
box.
it was more like forced and then day and night thinking.
I think it's paused again. So we'll just wait for Vidushini to come back. If you'll have any questions, you can post them.
Diary cover. So yes, diary cover
Sorry, Vidushini, before you move into the questions, I just want you had only discussed one art, one style of Madhubani. I just want to know the other two styles.
Okay, so let me first explain you the art forms. Like what I explained you is just one style, which is the Kachni style of painting. So in Kachni style, I explained that it is like more of the hatching, this thing. The fur actually it was practiced
primarily black and white. Yeah.
No, it's not necessary that it should be black and white.
Single color. Is it single color?
It can be done with the black. All the colors can be used. A little bit of red with black can be used, but everything in the form of hatching.
Okay.
We were not supposed to fill in the color with the brush.
Okay.
But another style of painting is when we sketch first and prepare the entire sketch, and then fill in the color, say with, then fill in the color. So that
Yeah.
is another style which is known as the Bharni style of painting.
Okay.
So means
Can you
आप
show us
हमको
an example?
color we are filling up. Let me show you some of the examples. Just one sec. So if you see, these are the Bharni styles.
Okay.
This is a Bharni style, a typical Bharni style, how it has been designed with, you know, after doing all that, you fill up the space with more with the branches and leaves. That I have done. But in
Yeah.
order to make this more prominent, to the bird to look more prominent, what I started doing is, you know, to take the background more into the black and this part. I like only with the help of the nib I have sketched the leaves, if you see. So this also became one of my signature kind of style, wherein I just when I was doing, say, a Bharni style, giving more emphasis on the like what I was sketching. Say if you are doing like these are all Bharni styles.
Where
So
the background is light and just in a single color,
yeah,
but
no, usually the background are not light, Mala. What happens? They will
like
fill it
you've done
with completely with green, and everything.
Yeah.
You know, filled up. With, everything is filled up with colors.
Yeah. So you
So
changed that here.
yeah, I changed that. You know, because I was liking more that way, because that in that way my bird or whatever motifs I was drawing, that became more prominent. So if I show you, the first sketch would look like this, you know, and in the same bird, if you see the shape, just if you do not change the shape, but if you design it differently, it looks different. So that you have to, while doing the painting, you have to understand that. And how much to fill color, where to fill color is also an understanding which actually is required. So wherever you design or wherever you fill in color, that beauty does not come. So it more understanding of the figure was like when I take classes, or say when I teach also, I make people understand that it has to be filled up. Like when you design it, you keep in mind that you have to fill in the color. So you have to
Somebody's
keep a
asking
gap.
actually, how long does it take to do one wall piece? I mean, if it's a large wall piece, say the one that we can see in the background, how long would you take to do something like this? The one that is there in the background.
This background, this is a Saraswati, which is almost of 22 by 28 size inches. The intricacy, if you see that same style that I told you in the background, I have used this. So it takes almost, you know, the sketch would take 2-3 days, and then the coloring. And then what I do with the nib and the background. That also takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So people actually need to understand, they don't understand the time and effort that we put in, or say even the passion that goes into it.
Correct.
So I think that understanding of the art is important.
And what is the third form, the third style?
The third style is known as the Godhna, or the tattoo style. So basically what happened, like when people were practicing these two art forms, which were actually practiced by the, you know, the upper caste of the society. This was actually practiced by the Brahmins and the Kaisthas. So then it was felt that, you know, the people from like the lower strata, they should also you know, practice a kind of art, because there was some this thing that okay, so this is practiced by the Brahmins, we cannot do that. So then it was felt that they should also go into some kind of art. and the motifs that were drawn on, they're tattooed on their body. Those motifs were, taken to paper, and then using those motifs, paintings were
Can you
created.
show us an example? Do you have an example of one of them?
Just 1 second. Just 1 second, okay? So this is a painting, these are the motifs that are used, the elephants, or this is the human figure. How it was tattooed.
The style of, say, this elephant is quite different from.
Yeah, so imagine this was tattooed on the body. So this actually came on the painting.
Okay.
So now people, what they do, they repeatedly use it and make a painting, or say they paint it in the form of a story. These were some of the motifs, and then like these are the three most important, like, popular styles of Madhubani.
Okay, okay. So a couple of people have asked regarding your inks and nib and your diary cover. So can you give us a small demonstration, Vidushni, of the art form?
Yes,
or do you want to speak before
yes,
that?
I'll do that, because that's the most frequent question, and I keep
And people want to see
answering
the
it
nib
like,
and, we just want to see, what.
so
how.
let me show you, like, these are some of the nibs. This is what we use. It's not that, something which is, so it's just like,
You have to hold it to the camera because we can't see it clearly. Yeah. Okay.
Let me just show it to you by flipping the camera. I think that would be better. So, say these are some of the nibs.
Okay. Okay.
This is what we get from, in the region of Madhubani or Patna. So usually
available in the normal market.
It is available in the normal market. It is available in whatever good stores that you see. So these are some of the nibs.
But you
It's
can't
just like
buy them in a stationery store over here, say in
any stationery. You can go to stationery store and buy it. So
Okay.
you get a nib like this, and it's a holder. You just need to insert it, and start with dip in color and sketch. So like these are the traditional ones which you actually get in Bihar, in Madhubani region, and Patna, wherever you want to. There you can get in any store.
Okay, okay.
Like these are some of which I get in Bangalore. This is what I get in Chitrakala Parishad. It's same thing, holder with a nib. But this is a really what should I say, a really good quality nib that yeah. So these are some of the nibs that you use, and then you just dip in color. So the color is like it's a normal what acrylic color that we use, and then that is mixed, say, with just I need to show you. So it's just a normal color, black color, acrylic one, mixed with a little bit of water. Instead, see, one can use, say, ink, which is a waterproof ink. So you just need what actually is required. You dip in color, this, and sketch. So this is the more traditional way of doing it. Some prepare their own color naturally from the shoots that you get from the diyas, and then mix it up with water and all that. But frankly speaking, I have never used those kind of colors. Whatever is available, because my
ink or something like this.
Yeah, So you can use any waterproofing, because so that your artwork does not become messy when you are coloring it, because
Yeah.
the sketch has to be done with black. Now, as I told you, that black was not considered to be like when we used to auspicious. So but it came into like when we were practicing, the art was practiced commercially, then black was first used and then fill in color. Because black actually, what happens that it is more like a, what should I say, that it provides the depth to the color. So black was very necessary. Now let me show you this, how to draw, just I have done a rough sketch. Rough means the outline, so that I don't take much time into explaining it. And we first start, say, with the eye. Just 1 second. It is becoming very difficult actually to hold the. Can you see the sketch properly?
Yeah, very clearly.
Okay. I asked my son to stay here and hold the, but he just went away. So it's the double lines and triple lines which are very important, while designing it. And then you do the hatching. So hatching is also one of the important features of Madhubani. So whether you are doing a Kachni style or the Bharni style, you have to hatch. And then, of course, you just start designing the with very fine lines and very, close lines. The lines should be very close to each other.
So you really this was a very steady hand for that.
Yeah. See, I have a practice of almost 15 years, and I have madly practiced it, say, for the last 15, 16 years. So you just go with very close lines, and then that's how you design. And
somebody is asking which paper is used. Is it only
see the paper? No, you can use. See, usually I use only handmade, but you can use whatever say paper you want. You can use, say, any acrylic color papers or papers which are of, say, 150 to 220 GSM. You can use anything, as long as it is a paper and not a board, or say if it is not a thin paper where the colors would blot.
And when you paint on fabric, you use fabric paint with a brush?
Yes. When you are working, say, on the canvas, say this is a canvas, or on a, like, should I show you more of this design, or can I stop actually?
Just maybe one, just complete that, and I think that will be sufficient.
Yeah, so this is the process, this is the way actually, and you fill it up with small motifs or say designs, and we need to place the designs properly so that you will not fill in, say you will not fill in the designs, you will fill the colors around the design.
Yeah.
So that's very important. So this is how the the sketch was done. And when your final sketch is created, then you fill in the color.
So I'm going to just, for many people who are asking specific questions to Vidushini, Vidushini holds a series of classes and I think online training as well. She has a very, very active following. So called your Facebook group is called what, Vidushini? Madhubani Art.
Yeah, there is a Facebook group where actually people, that is not my page, that I created to create awareness for Madhubani painting. Because I felt that, so that is a group which I created long back, say in 2007 or 8. And during that time, I felt that a lot of people need, that awareness is not there, like what kind of art is this or what kind of art is that. So
Yeah.
in order to make them understand more about Madhubani, I created that group. But, people started following that group, they started posting their work, and then it has now
It's paused again.
now it has become one of the biggest platform, I must say, for Madhubani painting. So
Yeah,
it
which is
is
great
also,
because I think it's important that the art form itself is understood by people and the intricacies
yes,
of
so
it are
I
understood.
felt that, as I am practicing it, and it becomes my duty to make people understand, like, more about this art form.
Yeah.
So creating a platform where they can, like, everyone is not going to become, want to sell their work, but at the same time they want to show their work to.
And to share. To share, I think, is very critical. You know.
So, so it has given that platform for everyone, and so you would be amazed to know that it is like, the followers are not only from India, but
So,
worldwide.
Vishnu, can you repeat the name of the group on Facebook?
The name of the group is Madhubani Painting. It's just Madhubani Painting.
Okay.
So it has
Okay.
25,000 followers. So with the amount of followers, you would know that
Yeah.
it is one of the biggest group.
Okay.
My
So, I'm
page,
going to ask you.
personal artist page, is Vidushni Prasad.
Okay. So Vidushni, just a couple more questions. One is really, you've done this journey from chemistry to maths to art. Do you feel that having, science and maths background has somehow helped you in art? Because, is there anything that you
Yes,
can learn from
yes,
that or carry forward?
yes, it has helped. It has helped me
Hmm.
understanding the colors well. The not only the chemical composition sometimes also, but more like not chemistry that much. But yes, my mathematicals, like like more understanding of mathematics, like the understanding the symmetry, or um, understanding the proportion well, like proportionately how big should I draw, or how small should I draw, or what will look good. And
Hmm.
also
Hmm.
the third thing about mathematics is that if you practice well, you and understand the concept well, you will
Hmm.
always succeed. So that I have applied in my artwork also. So
That's a
I
great.
practiced well, I understand. I mean, I have read like anything about the art form, wherever small little things, whatever I get where.
Hmm. Hmm. So I think Vidushini really has a researcher's mind and mathematical brain in that sense.
Yeah, you may say. Uh, uh, yes, that has helped. Yeah. And,
Hmm.
especially not the mathematical brain, what I should say, all, but the approach that we actually, when we practice maths,
Hmm.
uh, the way we practice maths, that approach I have taken to my artwork. So
That's good.
practice well, do it like,
Hmm.
practice more and more.
I think it's paused again, so just be patient, everyone. I think she'll probably come back on again because the signal seems to be very slow. But please do visit Vidushini's group called Madhubani Painting, as well as her own